The world you live in is not equal. Power is not shared. Power is concentrated in the hands of just a few countries. Countries so strong that they decide what you pay for fuel, for phones, for food, for rent. And here is the shocking part. Most people in the US and UK have no idea who is actually rising and who is secretly collapsing. In 2025, the global ranking of power is changing again. New data, new GDP numbers, new military budgets. Some countries are climbing, some are slipping. But the truth behind this ranking will shock you. There is a country with a small GDP, around $1.90 trillion, but it controls the global tech supply chain, and big nations depend on it. There is a country with a military budget of only $24 billion, but its soldiers have one of the highest readiness levels in the world. And there is a country that has the largest navy on earth, but is not number one. This is not just about weapons. This is about money. This is about minds. This is about who writes the rules. Today, we reveal the top 10 most powerful countries of 2025. No fluff, no slow intro, just raw data, real power. Let me show you exactly how this map of world power is being built, right now. Number 10, Israel. Look at this tiny country. Small land, small population, but reportedly one of the most dangerous, digitally. This is Israel, the tech fortress of 2025. Israel's GDP is around $550.91 billion. Not the biggest, not even close to top 5. But money is not the reason this nation ranks in power. Israel's real power is brains. They build cyber weapons, AI defense systems, and extreme intelligence technology. This country makes software that can silently enter a phone, without even needing the phone to click anything. US tech firms, Google, Microsoft, Meta, they hire Israeli AI labs, because this is where some of the smartest engineers are trained. And here's the wild part. Most leaders here served in the military cyber units before they even finished college. Mandatory service creates a pipeline of trained warriors, not just soldiers. Cyber soldiers. Israel flies the F-35. It has one of the most combat-ready air forces on Earth. Its intelligence agencies are among the most feared. This is a country that doesn't wait for threats. It neutralizes them before they arrive. So Israel proves a big truth. In the new world, brains beat size. Power is not about landmass anymore. Power is about code. Because in 2025, code controls missiles. Code controls banks. Code controls power grids. And that's why this small country is sitting at number 10, but can punch like a top 5. Beat? Do you think cyber power is more powerful than tanks now? Comment your answer. Number 9, Saudi Arabia. The oil lever. People think power means army size, but here is the twist. Saudi Arabia has something even bigger. They control the price of energy, and in 2025 energy still controls the world. Oil is not old. Oil is not gone. Oil is still the blood of the global machine, and Saudi Arabia holds the valve. This one country can make gasoline expensive. This one country can make inflation rise. This one country can shake stock markets in US and UK without firing a single bullet. Let that sink in. Saudi Arabia's economy in 2025 is around $1.14 trillion, and they spend billions on defense. They buy elite weapons from USA and UK. Jets, missiles, tanks, systems. This is not a weak country. This is a loaded arsenal. But the real power is invisible. Saudi Arabia is building the future on top of oil money. Projects like NEOM, a futuristic mega smart city. Billions pumped into tech. Billions pumped into AI. Billions pumped into global investments. You see the pattern?
Number 8, Japan. The precision giant. Most people think Japan is soft, quiet, peaceful, not a threat. But that is the world's biggest misunderstanding. Japan does not show power loudly. Japan shows power through precision. Japan's 2025 economy is about $4.39 trillion. Fourth biggest economy on Earth. Bigger than UK. Bigger than India. Bigger than Russia. Bigger than France. Japan is everywhere in your life. Toyota in your garage. Sony in your pocket. Honda in the streets. Nintendo in your childhood. Toshiba in global power systems. Panasonic in home electronics. Hitachi plus Fujitsu in infrastructure. Nikon in lenses and optics. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries in aerospace plus defense. Japan doesn't sell noise. Japan sells quality components. Japan is inside your phone. Japan is inside your car. Japan is inside advanced machines. Now military. Japan is not tiny. Japan has around 247,000 active troops. Japan is adding F-35 stealth jets. Japan operates powerful Aegis destroyers. Japan has helicopter carriers that can convert into aircraft carriers if needed. And Japan spends over $50 billion per year on defense, and increasing. Now the twist, Japan can shut the world down without war. If Japan stopped exporting critical parts for 30 days, auto factories stop, Chip fabrication stops, smartphones delays skyrocket, data center hardware supply freezes. Japan is not the weapon. Japan is the toolmaker behind every weapon. And in geopolitics, the toolmaker has the real control. Japan does not win by volume. Japan wins by precision power, quiet power, reliable power, global backbone power. That is why Japan is ranked number 8. Precision beats size. Number 7, France. The diplomat with the nuclear hammer. Most people think France is just croissants, art, and Paris lights. But here's the truth. France is quietly one of the world's most dangerous powers. Let's start with numbers. France's GDP in 2025 is around $3.3 trillion, top 7 globally. It's the second largest economy in Europe, only behind Germany. Money means influence, but what France buys with that money? That's the real story. France spends over $64 billion every year on its military. That's one of the top 10 defense budgets in the world. With about 270,000 active troops, 1,000 tanks, 1 nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, the Charles de Gaulle, and over 200 modern combat jets, France isn't playing small. And then there's the bomb. France owns roughly 290 nuclear warheads, each one powerful enough to destroy a city. These are ready, modern, and sea-launched through ballistic submarines. That makes France not just a regional power, but a global one. But the real secret is how France uses its power. While others fight wars, France moves chess pieces. Diplomacy is its battlefield. It has a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council, which means, one word from France can veto a global decision. That's power only 5 countries in the world have. France also projects its influence far beyond Europe. Its military operates in Africa, the Middle East, and even the Indo-Pacific. From Mali to Lebanon, French troops have presence and partnerships everywhere. And behind all that force are its industries. Companies like Dassault Aviation, Thales, Safran, Naval Group, and MBDA build the machines of modern warfare. Dassault's Rafale fighter jet is one of the most advanced aircraft in the world. And nations from India to Egypt are buying it. So while others talk about power, France quietly manufactures it. Now combine that with culture. France holds soft power like almost no one else. It doesn't always need to shout. It influences through respect, economy, and intelligence. That's why experts call France the diplomat with the nuclear hammer. Brains, bombs, beauty, all in one nation. That's why France ranks number 7 among the world's most powerful countries in 2025. Because in modern power, it's not about who yells the loudest. It's about who holds the final veto. Before you go,
Number 6, South Korea. Most people look at South Korea and think it's just a small country surrounded by giants. But here's the shocking truth. South Korea is one of the most powerful, most advanced, and most underestimated nations on Earth, and the world still doesn't realize how big its influence truly is. Let's start with the facts no one talks about. South Korea is a top 10 global economy. Its GDP crosses $1.9 trillion, placing it above countries much larger than it. Its military ranks among the strongest in Asia. And many experts believe it could develop a nuclear weapon in less than 1 year if it ever had to. This is not a small power. This is a sleeping giant, fully awake. Now let's see why the whole world depends on South Korea. This is a nation of just 52 million people. Yet it builds the technology every country on Earth relies on. Samsung, SK Hynix, LG, Hyundai, Kia, these are not just companies, they are global engines. Here is the part most people don't understand. South Korea produces around 70% of the world's memory chips. The chips inside your phone, your laptop, your car, your PlayStation, your AI systems. If South Korea stopped chip production for even 1 month, the global economy would break. This is real-world power, quiet, technical, unavoidable. But South Korea's strength goes far beyond technology. Its military is one of the most advanced in Asia. Over 6 million reserve and active troops, F-35 jets, Aegis destroyers, precision missiles, cutting-edge drones, and powerful cyber defense units. And because of the constant threat from North Korea, South Korea's military isn't just strong. It's ready 24/7. Now here's the twist most people miss. South Korea doesn't just build military power. It exports it, K-2 Black Panther tanks, K-9 Thunder artillery, F-A-50 fighter jets. These Korean weapons are now being bought by Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Cheaper than Western systems, but almost just as advanced. South Korea is quietly becoming a global arms supplier. And then comes the cultural force. The one everyone feels, but no one measures. K-pop, K-dramas, K-movies, K-fashion, K-beauty, BTS, Blackpink, Squid Game, Parasite. South Korea dominates global pop culture. Soft power so strong, it shapes global opinions, markets, trends, and tourism. It's not just entertainment. It's influence. Economically, South Korea is one of the world's most important exporting nations. Electronics, robotics, autos, steel, shipbuilding, semiconductors. Its economic footprint touches the US, UK, Europe, Southeast Asia, everywhere. And now, the topic most governments avoid. Nuclear capability. South Korea does not officially have nuclear weapons. But experts agree it has the technology, science, and industrial strength to build one in under a year if it ever decided to. Combine that with the powerful US alliance, and South Korea becomes a far stronger deterrent than people think. So when you add everything together, tech dominance, military readiness, arms exports, cultural power, strategic alliances, economic reach, nuclear potential, you get a country that doesn't shout for attention, but silently moves the world's markets, culture, and military balance. This is why South Korea ranks among the most powerful countries in 2025. Because true power is not always loud. Sometimes, it's built quietly in chips, songs, science, and strength. And South Korea mastered all of it. Most people look at Germany and think it's just cars, engineering, and Oktoberfest. But the truth goes much deeper. Germany is actually one of the strongest military and industrial powers in the world, and Europe quietly depends on it. Let's start with the part most people never hear about. Germany has over 180,000 active soldiers, more than 600,000 reserves, a modern air force with Eurofighter Typhoons, advanced air defense systems, and one of the most feared tanks ever built, the Leopard 2. European armies literally rely on this tank as their backbone. And now that Germany has pushed its defense spending past 2% of GDP, its military is rebuilding faster than at any time since the Cold War. Now combine that with its economy. A massive $4.6 trillion in 2025. The fourth largest economy on Earth, and the biggest in Europe. When Germany moves, Europe moves. When Germany slows, the entire continent feels it. And the industries behind this power? They're not normal industries, they're world-shaping. BMW, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen. Germany doesn't just make cars, it creates global machines. Siemens, Bosch, BASF. These giants build the engines, chemicals, and technologies that the world's factories rely on. From electronics to heavy machinery, Germany's fingerprint is everywhere. Germany's influence grows even more through its alliances. Inside the European Union, it's the quiet leader, the country that shapes policy, economics, and strategy. Inside NATO, Germany holds a central military position and even hosts US nuclear weapons, giving it instant nuclear deterrence without owning any warheads itself. Then comes soft power, the kind people feel but don't always notice. German education, science, engineering, culture, and football create a global impact that earns respect without ever raising its voice. And while many countries are still debating the future of clean energy, Germany is already building it, leading in solar tech, wind power, electric mobility, and green engineering. Put all these pieces together, a multi-trillion-dollar economy, a rapidly advancing military, world-class engineering, top global exports, influence in NATO and the EU, strong alliances, global cultural respect, and leadership in renewable technology. This is why Germany ranks number 5 among the world's most powerful nations in 2025. Because Germany doesn't need noise. Its power is built on machines, strategy, and precision, and the world depends on it more than it realizes. Most people look at the United Kingdom and see a small island with old buildings, history, and royalty. But beneath that quiet exterior lies one of the most powerful nations on Earth. A country whose influence shaped the modern world and continues to shape it today. To understand the UK's power, we begin with the core of its strength, its military. The United Kingdom maintains one of the most advanced armed forces in the world, with over 194,000 active and reserve personnel. It operates cutting-edge F-35 fighter jets, powerful Type 45 destroyers, nuclear-powered submarines, and some of the most sophisticated intelligence systems any nation has ever built. But the true foundation of its strength is its nuclear arsenal. The UK holds around 225 nuclear warheads, carried by ballistic missile submarines that silently patrol the oceans. These submarines ensure one thing: the United Kingdom can strike back from anywhere, at any time. This places the UK firmly among the world's major nuclear powers, a nation whose voice cannot be ignored. But military power is just one part of the story. The UK's economy in 2025 stands at roughly $3.4 trillion, making it one of the largest economies on the planet. London alone is one of the world's most influential financial centers. Global banks, insurance giants, investment firms, and multinational corporations all operate from here. And decisions made in London can shift markets across Europe, Asia, and the United States. This financial dominance has shaped global trade, modern banking, and international law for decades, and continues to do so today. The UK's influence stretches even further through diplomacy. As a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, the United Kingdom holds veto power, a privilege only 5 countries on Earth possess. One vote, one decision, and the direction of global policy can change. Its intelligence agencies, MI5, MI6, and GCHQ, are among the most capable in the world. Their networks stretch across Europe, the Middle East, Africa, Asia, and deep into the Atlantic Alliance. In global security, UK intelligence can shape outcomes long before any conflict begins. And then comes the soft power, the influence that travels quietly but reaches everywhere. The English language, British education, literature, movies, science, music, and media all carry global weight. Oxford and Cambridge shape world leaders. The BBC informs millions. British culture is everywhere, often without people even noticing it. Combine all of this: a nuclear-armed military, a global intelligence network, a multi-trillion-dollar economy, London's financial influence, power in NATO and the United Nations, worldwide cultural reach, historic alliances, and a legacy that still defines global systems. This is why the United Kingdom ranks number 4 among the most powerful nations in 2025. Because true power isn't measured by size, it's measured by reach, and the UK's reach extends far beyond its shores, touching the entire world, quietly and effectively.
Most people hear the name Russia, and they think of cold winters, old Soviet stories, or endless political tension. But the reality is much larger. Because Russia remains one of the most powerful nations on Earth, even in 2025, a silent superpower operating behind borders that stretch farther than any other country in the world. Let's begin with the foundation of its power, a military machine that almost no nation can ignore. Russia controls the largest nuclear arsenal on the planet, over 5,800 warheads spread across land, sea, and air. Its nuclear triad, ballistic missile submarines, long-range bombers, and intercontinental missiles, gives Russia a level of deterrence unmatched by any country except the United States. On land, Russia commands one of the world's biggest armored forces, thousands of tanks, including upgraded T-90 variants, a massive artillery network, and long-range missile systems like the S-400 and the S-500, defense systems so advanced that multiple countries rely on them for protection. In the air, Russia fields fighters such as the Su-35 and the Su-57, aircraft built for maneuverability, speed, and dominance across vast regions of sky. But military power is only one part of the story. Russia also controls one of the largest natural resource empires on Earth: oil, natural gas, uranium, coal, gold, diamonds, the raw materials every modern economy needs. Nations across Europe and Asia still depend on Russian energy, and that dependence quietly increases Moscow's leverage across continents. Then comes geography, a landmass so massive it spans 11 time zones, touching the Arctic, the Pacific, and the borders of both Europe and Asia. This gives Russia something few nations possess: strategic depth, isolation from invasion, and influence stretching from Eastern Europe all the way to East Asia. Russia's defense industry remains enormous, producing tanks, jets, missiles, and warships at a scale matched only by the United States and China. Despite global pressure, sanctions, and political isolation, Russia has continued to expand its military production faster than analysts expected. Its cyber capabilities are another silent weapon, powerful enough to influence global politics, disrupt networks, and reshape conflicts without firing a single shot. And then there is culture and identity, a nation shaped by history, by struggle, by a deep sense of survival. From literature and science to space exploration and classical arts, Russia's influence continues to echo far beyond its borders. Combine all of this: a massive nuclear arsenal, a vast resource empire, a huge military-industrial base, strategic geography, global energy influence, cyber capabilities, and a culture built on resilience. These pillars make Russia the 3rd most powerful country in the world in 2025, a nation whose strength is not always loud, not always visible, but always present. Because Russia's power isn't measured only in economics or politics, it's measured in scale, in endurance, in depth. The power of a country built to survive anything, and to shape world events from the shadows.
Most people know the United States, but very few know how powerful it actually is. Because America isn't just another, it's the nation that shapes the rules of. Let's begin with the foundation of every true superpower, the military. The U.S. the largest, most advanced, expensive fighting force ever created in human, with over 1.3 million and 850,000 reserves, and military bases in over 70. America has global reach that no other nation can match. Its air power alone feels like something taken straight. F-22 Raptors, F-30s, B-2 and B-21 bombers, military drones, AWACS systems, and an air that can project force anywhere on Earth with. And then, there's the Navy. The United States' nuclear-powered aircraft carriers combined has less than half of that, and almost none are nuclear. These carriers are floating cities, carrying jets, drones, thousands of personnel. When an American carrier group arrives, they behaves differently. And we haven't even reached the net. The US maintains 200 nuclear warheads, with 100 Marines, missile silos, and strategic bombers. Capability. Second strike capability. Missile defense. America has every nuclear deterrence. But strength is only one part of the story. Now let's talk fuels all of it. The economy. The States leads the global economy with a GDP $8 trillion in 2025. Are the largest economy on Earth. The US dollar is the world's reserve currency. America prints money, the world adjusts. When America raises interest rates, markets shake. Silicon Valley alone of global technology. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Tesla. These aren't just, they are digital empires. America leads in artificial intelligence, biotechnology, cybersecurity, space exploration, and advanced weapons. Its innovation ecosystem is universities, private labs, military research, and global talent, all forming one enormous and influence. But here's where it becomes almost untouchable. Alliances. The G7 Security Council, the Five Eyes Intelligence Network. Continents. The US sits at the center of the full strategic systems. Its military bases circle the planet. Its companies dominate the internet, and its decisions that affect billions of people. Even influence. Netflix, music, entertainment, and social media. America's across the way. This is soft power on a scale no other country can replicate. There's space. SpaceX and Mars are pushing the boundaries of what humanity can do. America has more satellites, more launch capability. Most people know the United States is powerful, but very few truly understand how powerful it actually is. Because America isn't just another strong country, it's the nation that shapes the rules of the modern world. Let's begin with the foundation of every true superpower, the military. The US military is the largest, most advanced, and most expensive fighting force ever created in human history. With over 1.3 million active troops, more than 850,000 reserves, and military bases in over 70 countries, America has global reach that no other nation can match. Its air power alone feels like something taken straight from science fiction. F-22 Raptors, F-35 stealth fighters, B-2 and B-21 bombers, hundreds of military drones, AWACS systems, and an air refueling network that can project force anywhere on Earth within hours. And then, there's the Navy. The United States operates 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers. The rest of the world combined has less than half of that, and almost none are nuclear. These carriers are floating cities, carrying jets, drones, missiles, and thousands of personnel. Where an American carrier group arrives, the entire region behaves differently. And we haven't even reached the nuclear arsenal yet. The US maintains roughly 5,200 nuclear warheads, with hundreds deployed and ready, launched from submarines, missile silos, and strategic bombers. First strike capability, second strike capability, missile defense, space surveillance. America has every single layer of nuclear deterrence. But raw military strength is only one part of the story. Now let's talk about the engine that fuels all of it, the economy. The United States leads the global economy with a GDP of around $28 trillion in 2025, by far the largest economy on Earth. Its currency, the US dollar, is the world's reserve currency. When America prints money, the world adjusts. When America raises interest rates, markets shake. Silicon Valley alone influences the future of global technology. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla. These aren't just companies, they are digital empires. America leads in artificial intelligence, robotics, biotechnology, cybersecurity, cybersecurity, space exploration, and advanced weapon systems. Its innovation ecosystem is unmatched: universities, private labs, startups, military research, and global talent, all forming one enormous machine of invention and influence. But here's where the United States becomes almost untouchable. Alliances: NATO, the G7, the UN Security Council, the Five Eyes intelligence network. Across oceans and continents, the US sits at the center of the world's most powerful strategic systems. Its military bases circle the planet. Its companies dominate the internet. And its diplomacy shapes decisions that affect billions of people. Even culture becomes influence. Hollywood, Netflix, music, gaming, entertainment, and social media. American culture reaches across the world every single day. This is soft power on a scale no other country can replicate. And then, there's space. NASA, SpaceX, and the US Space Force are pushing the boundaries of what humanity can do. America has more satellites, more launch capability, and more orbital surveillance than the next 10 nations combined. So when you put everything together, heavy checkmark: a massive global military. Heavy checkmark: the largest and most advanced economy. Heavy checkmark: a powerful nuclear and missile network. Heavy checkmark: leading technology and innovation. Heavy checkmark: worldwide alliances and military bases. Heavy checkmark: cultural dominance. Heavy checkmark: space superiority. Heavy checkmark: intelligence networks. Heavy checkmark: and a currency that defines global trade. This is why the United States remains the #1 most powerful country in the world in 2025. Not just because it has strength, but because it controls almost every layer of global influence at the same time. Other nations rise. Other nations compete. But the United States is still the superpower everyone must calculate around. Because in modern geopolitics, there are powerful countries. And then there is America.